Hey guys, for those of you that are still out there watching, still out there hanging out, I'm going to go ahead and recap my trade from today. If I'm through early enough, I'll do this more often, in chat, so I don't have to wait till later on at night. Sometimes I don't get to do it because I get tied up and all that good stuff. So I'm going to try to do the recap today and give you an idea of how I go through my reflection, because that's going to be key to your growth. But you guys, on the announcements tab, I asked you a question. Do you want a break or a breakout? And this is a message that ET shared for his TGIM messages that he does every week, or attempts to do every week. And I shared the link to the video, and I think it's a real good video. And we could look at wanting a break in two different ways. We could want a break from the struggle, or we can ask, some of us just want a break by getting a couple winning trades together. Some of us want that kind of break. But, do we just want to be pacified for the time being? Or do we want a real breakout, something that's going to sustain us throughout our entire career? And that's what it boils down to. So, you guys in chat, you got the link to the video, but I'll attach it to the video that I put out on YouTube as well. But this is something that you really, really want to think about. So as I go through my recap, these are the things that I'm thinking about. So once the trade is done, I'm going to reflect on how well my plan worked and how well I stuck to the plan. Most of the time, my reflection is going to come in the evening, or when I'm done trading. Then I'll start looking at and reviewing my trades. You can't really do it in the middle of the day, because sometimes you can get mad at yourself and then go back and start trying to trade, and revenge trading doesn't work out very well. So I typically encourage you to wait until the end of the day before you go through the reflection process. So one of the key things I think that people forget is to reflect on their trade and journal it. Write down what your thoughts are. Write down what you're thinking, what you felt you did wrong, what you felt you did right. All of that stuff, if you write it down, it becomes law. It becomes burned into you. And you could always come back to it. So some of the questions that I'm asking myself, and they may come in different times, but as I recap my trades, I'm talking about what happened. I'm answering the question, what happened during the trade? What was I feeling? What was I thinking during the trade? What was good and bad about it? Does it make sense? What else could I have done? And then if it came about again, if I was in the same position again, what would I do? And when I reflect on my trades, guys, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going through this quick, easy 6-step process. And if you do it over and over again every day, it's going to become a habit. And once it becomes a habit, you can do it without really thinking about it. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to go through and do it. And that is what is key. So I am working on a new blog that deals with the power of habit. I read this book. It was an incredible book. So I'm working on doing a blog on it. Just like I read The Power Broke, and I kind of shared that. I read The Pursuit of Happiness. You know, so this is going to kind of fall in line with that. All right, so with that in mind, you know, we're going to look at this STX trade from today. This morning, obviously, we went through our morning routine. We found the stock that we're looking for, that we wanted to trade. Now, this was just like the other stocks. I think I forgot the ticker. SOHU. You know, the spread wasn't where it wanted to be. We wanted it to be. It just wasn't settling down. And you can see, you know, coming into the open, it still wasn't settled. And, you know, whenever we have a candle like this, for the first 5-minute candle, where we have like maybe a wicked, extra long wick on this candlestick, that's a clear sign for me not to go in on the break. I'm going to wait until this thing puts in an opening range low, and then I'm going to jump in. So that's exactly what I did. I waited for this candle. It put in an opening range low. I waited for this candle to close below it, and then I got in. I was waiting to get in on the break of the close of this candle, and I was waiting, and it was just sitting up here, and then all of a sudden it dropped like 10, 15 cents, maybe 20 cents. And I kind of waited to see if we were going to pull back a little bit so that I could get in closer to this, but it never did, so I ended up getting in. It was about 10 cents away from where I wanted to get in. You know, so I got in at 53.61. I wanted to get in around 53.70 is where I wanted to get in. But, and you guys have seen me make this mistake over and over again. Whereas I get in, I start running my mouth, and I forget to put in my first target. And I actually forgot to put in this level here. But luckily I caught myself before I started shooting off at the mouth, and was able to take profit here right around 52.30. At 52.29, was able to take profit off there. And this thing was, now I admit, my trade plan was to take it all off once it got here. That was my trade plan. It was, if it started to slow down here or give us trouble, take half off here, take the rest off here, or if we made it through there pretty good, take it all off here. Because this thing sold off so fast, I didn't take it all off, I only took half off. And as this started to recover, I couldn't get a good read on the price action. It was just too choppy and too jumpy. I just went ahead and got out, which turned out to be the right move, because this thing recovered and ran all the way up. Now, we were looking for a continuation move off the rejection here of VWAP and the 9. It never did. We never got that rejection. It tried to trick us because it opened red here and started to sell a little bit. But, you know, I've been around the block too long to fall for that trick. So I waited, and you can see it just ran itself up all the way through the 50, dipped above, went green on the day for a minute, and then got rejected here at the 100, and it started selling off. So there's no short for me in here, because if I was shorting here, I'd be shorting into the 50, the 9, the 20, which is not a habit I want to get into. If I shorted up under here, I didn't have a whole lot of room to VWAP. So I waited until we got a VWAP fade, and that's where I shorted. Now the ideal entry would have been wait until we get a close below VWAP, and then we get a trigger to enter once we get below here. But I was at lunch. I was getting ready to order or go pick my order up, and I had to get in on this break. So these are two different ways you could get in, just like the opening range. The VWAP fade, you can get in as we lose VWAP, or you can get in on the test and fail. But the one that I walked you through was the one that you get in on the test and fail. And we couldn't get through, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But we couldn't get through this opening range, the pre-market low. Even though we took it out here, this still held firm. We couldn't get below this. I wanted to take some profit as we went through this 52.80. We never could get it. And so when we started to recover, I went ahead and took it off. And, it's for a little bit of profit. But if you think about it, if I had taken half off here and this thing came all the way back and stopped me out at break even, I would have ended up probably a couple dollars less in profit because of the extra commissions. That's an extra $6. Plus, I might have gotten some slippage here. So that would have been even worse. So I think that was the smartest thing to do. That's why I made the decision to just take it off all here. And then that was it. For me, it was pretty much done. I figured this stock would trade within this channel the rest of the day, maybe push up, a little bit, but I didn't think that there was going to be much left in this stock. And honestly, it's been trading sideways for the last hour. So you can see there's not much there. Now here, and I shared this in the video this weekend. Part of the educational process is guided practice. Okay, where you're watching me trade live like you did this morning. You're watching my entries and exits. You're listening to what I'm thinking. But there's another component to that. It's just like if you're in class. The teacher is not going to sit there and give you the answers all day, every day. If they did, you would never learn. So when I'm at lunch, and you older guys, or you veterans, you know this. When I'm at lunch, I can't stream my platform live. And I tried for months to get that to work, but it just didn't work. So when I go to lunch, I'm going to give you the strategy. I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for. And it's up to you to decide whether you're going to take this trade or not. That's what it boils down to. That's where guided practice comes into play. Whether you're trading live or whether you're in the simulator, you're going to have to take some trades on your own without worrying about, are you going to take the trade? Are you going to get in? What's your entry? Who gives a shit what my entry is when you're trying to learn how to trade on your own? Okay, that's what you're supposed to be doing. After the trade is over and everything is done, then let's compare entries and exits. Let's talk about, what could we have done better? That's where the reflection comes in. You gotta be able to do this thing. If you never can think on your own, you'll never be able to sustain yourself trading. And one of the things is, I don't want to create sheep. I don't want to create somebody that's going to be here following me a year from now. A year from now, if you're here, it's because you want to help others achieve the same success you've achieved. And you want to let them know that, hey, mirror trading is not the way to do it. That's what I'm looking for here. That's what I'm looking for out of my students. I want to see growth. I want to see you outgrow what we're doing here. That's the whole point. No teacher wants to keep their same students sitting on the other side year after year after year. If you come back, we want you to come back and help others and be a part of the community because this is what you like to do. Not because you need this in order to be successful. So, no, it's not a good business model, but I'm not in the business to create, return people just to come and give, pay. It doesn't make, to me, that's not what this is about. Learning is what this whole deal is about. That's the main reason I started this whole thing. So, just to give you an idea, this is what I posted. Whenever you see Ed Mobile, that means I'm away from my desk. I'm not here. I'm out. Now, sometimes I eat lunch here. I have lunch here. I make it, and I'm eating here. And you guys know because I'm typing, and it just says Ed. When it says Ed Mobile, I am away from my desk for lunch. And I encourage you guys to take lunch off. Take some time. Get away from your computer. Get away from this. Even though I'm still glued to a little laptop when I'm at lunch, there is some disconnect from all of this. From the whole, 6 monitors staring in my face, then another laptop with 2 monitors staring in my face. I'm down to just one watching one thing. So there is some disconnect there, but I encourage you guys to take breaks. I'll get up and walk outside. I'll go mess around with the dog sometimes. Punting chihuahuas is a lot of fun. Play with the bird feeder. Do all kind of things. There's a lot of things. Now, punting chihuahuas is not as bad as what you think. It's a fun game. I'm not actually kicking them. So don't think that. Don't turn me into the SPCA. I love my little dogs. I birthed them, so no way I'm gonna hurt them. But I don't even know where I was. So if you see Ed Mobile, I'm away, and I'm gonna type in what we're looking for. And here's the second trade on STX. Waiting for STX to establish under the VWAP. Then when it triggered on the loss of VWAP. Entry triggered on the loss of VWAP. So hopefully if you didn't see it, you could go back and verify and look, hey, this is a loss. This was an entry that triggered. If you missed it, then you know what to look for the next time. And then I tell you, market looks choppy through lunch, so you want to take that into consideration. The ideal first target on STX is just under 53 at 52.80. That's what I was looking for. A move through that, but we didn't get it. But this is what I'm typing these in to kind of help guide you to what you should be looking at and thinking about. How does that compare to what you were looking at, what you were thinking about? That's what this is all about. It's all about growing as a trader. And it was all through here. So at lunch, when I'm not here, It's when you need to have guided practice. I'm going to try to guide you, and it's up to you. You can paper trade it, or you could be live in your account. Just make sure you manage your risk properly, and see what you can do. And in a couple of weeks, couple of months, you'll be able to look back and see just how far you've grown. And I'm telling you, when you do that, that'll be an incredible, incredible feeling. Randy, not sure what you're asking. What time will what start? All right, so you guys understand the process. And those that, a lot of traders are just here for the morning. They're here for the first hour or so. And then we got some that come in after lunch. So I'll post this video on YouTube. So the ones that had to leave already and go to work, the West Coasters have to go to work. So well, when you're driving from work, Randy, when you're coming from work, that's when I'm on the mic here in the morning. That's during the morning trading session. So you're going to hear me talking about what I'm doing. The guided practice, when I'm typing in what I'm thinking, is when I'm gone to lunch, because I can't be on the mic. All I can do is type at that time. And so that's when I'm telling you, okay, take a look at this stock. This is the strategy that I'm looking to set up. This is the parameters that I'm looking for to present themselves for the setup to happen. When it sets up or it triggers an entry, I'll probably send that. And potential profit targets. It's just, I don't want you so concerned at that point. I don't want you concerned about when is Ed getting in, where's his targets. I'm going to inadvertently share those with you. So yeah, if you catch it, you'll know exactly where it is. But I want you to use those as guides, as this is where it probably needs to be. But I want you to pick it out first. I want you to use that knowledge from the class and from what you saw in the morning. I want you to use that knowledge and put that into play. Because once you get it, I'm telling you, it's going to be a beautiful thing. All right, so tomorrow, and I'll do these early so I can have the video posted early. And you guys that are still here, I can recap the trades. You can ask questions and all of that, as long as my day is done. If we have an extended day, like if STX was still playing and it was still doing what I wanted it to do, then I would still be trading this. So it's just going to depend on, how early I call it a day.